Hello everybody, welcome to my channel. This is the first video on Electron.js. We are gonna just talk about introduction to Electron.js and then installing Electron.js into our computers in this video. So, for those of you who do not know what Electron.js is, it is a JavaScript framework which uses Chrome technology, and using this you can go ahead and then just build desktop applications using HTML, CSS and JavaScript. So if you know developing websites using HTML and CSS along with JavaScript, you pretty much know how to develop desktop applications using Electron.js, although you need to learn some extra libraries and modules like the menu templates and so on. With that said, how does Electron.js run an application? So here's how it goes. All Electron does is it's gonna go ahead and then embed a window inside a website. So whatever HTML file you code, it's gonna go ahead and then embed a window on top of that, and that is your application. And that's really how every application in Electron works. Some examples of applications created using Electron.js is Visual Studio Code, Facebook Messenger, Twitch, Slack, Figma, and we don't have it here, but GitHub and Etcher, for example, all of these applications are also very much created using Electron.js. So yeah, that's pretty much it. That is the introduction to Electron.js. Let's get started with installing Electron.js. First off, in order to have Electron.js installed, you need to have Node.js installed. To install Node.js, if you're using Linux, all you have to do is open up your terminal and then just say sudo apt install Node.js. Or maybe you're using pacman in Linux, you can just say sudo pacman s and then Node.js. With that done, you can go ahead and then get started if you're using Linux. If you're using a Mac, you can just go ahead and then download the installer just like Windows and then just install Node.js. If you're using Windows, go ahead and then click onto the Windows installer, and that would download the Node MSI. Once you have Node.js MSI downloaded, go ahead and then install Node.js. I have already installed Node.js, and so I am getting this message right here. A later version of Node.js is already installed. Setup will now exit. And that's pretty much what I want because I already have it installed. Now, once you have Node.js installed, you can go ahead and then get started with installing Electron. The way you do it is by going to the terminal and then say go to the folder wherever you want, and then just say npx create Electron app, and then you can name the app as anything you want. I am gonna go ahead and then name my app as example app and then hit enter. That would go ahead and then ask you whether you want to install create Electron app. Now by default, Electron uses npm in order to create an Electron project. You use npm install Electron and then save dev tag. After that, this would go ahead and then install Electron into your Node.js project. But I am gonna go ahead and then use npx, which is more like a pre-built, easier, more beginner friendly version of creating an Electron project. So I'm just gonna go ahead and then say yes here, and that is gonna go ahead and not only install Electron and then create a project named example app, it's gonna go ahead and then fetch some Electron specific files, which would further help us by simplifying whatever we wanted. So by the end of this installation, you would have a completely working Electron project with you, and that is exactly what we want. Well, yes, I got this error right now because I did not install Git. Git is very much necessary if you are installing Electron.js. So yeah, you need to go ahead and then install Git into your system. If you are using Linux, go ahead and then say sudo apt install git. If you're using pacman inside Linux, you should say sudo pacman s git. In this case, I'm just using Windows. I'm gonna use winget install, or maybe just search for git for now, just to know how many packages I have. And you can see it's fairly a huge number of packages which I have. I'm gonna go ahead and then download this. This is basically the actual Git which I want. So I'm just gonna say winget install git.git. That would go ahead and then fetch and install Git into your system. And yes, by the way, if you are wondering, if you hate package managers, you can install Git through websites, and that's also totally fine. And there you go. You have now installed Git. You have to just get started with creating an example app. In my case, it's called example app. It could be something else for you. Now, by the way, you just saw another error right now, and that's because I forgot to just close the terminal and then reopen it, and that would just refresh and then make sure that Git is loaded into your terminal. So just in case for fetching Git, Electron would use that. Now, once you have your application created, you can go ahead and then navigate to that folder and then just say npm start. Now npm start would go ahead and then literally just debug and then run your application. Now here you can see that my application is finally built. If you have followed along with this video, you're probably in my situation. You can see that we have the inspector tab, which you would get in a Chrome browser. You would also get this in other browsers, but this is specifically a Chrome inspector tab. And then you have some styles right here, which you can, well, inspect if you want. And yes, you have pretty much run your first application of Electron. We are gonna further talk about how to create your first application and then getting started with adding logics and creating a fairly clean piece of application inside Node.js in the next video. If you are interested in more content like this, of course go ahead and then subscribe. It's free. Go ahead and do that. With that done, I will meet you in the next video. Goodbye.